thank you all for joining me. Now more than ever, great impressive start to a band. Now I'll throw the first one to Tyson. Tyson, how did you first meet Izzy and Scott? Scott, from what I understand, played in the Rejects.
Yeah, he still tours with us. We've been together. Scott and I have been together for over a decade now. He had an audition for the Rejects to play keys and a horrible hazing, and 10 plus years later, he's still with us, and about honestly, like probably another decade. Izzy and I have known each other as well. We toured. It was one of Scott's first tours, wasn't it? Or did you tour with us after this tour?
It was after, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so shit. Yeah. So I've known Izzy actually longer.
Yeah.
Izzy, Izzy was touring with Taking Back Sunday at the time as an ancillary, like, hired gun, and I remember every night sort of seeing this guy that was like, I didn't know Izzy's endless talent, like, because he was kind of kept in a cage with Taking Back Sunday, because I think there's a guy named Vinny who plays guitar in that band who's like, or am I wrong?
We'll go with Vinny for now.
It doesn't matter. They're all from Jersey. They're all named Vinny.
No, they're from Long Island, which I'm dialing in.
They're not getting all the facts wrong.
Forgive me. Yeah. Your name as well is Vinny. So it's a pleasure to meet you, Vinny.
Thank you.
No. So this, years later, all of a sudden, I remember Izzy and I kept in touch, and Scotty and I, of course, lived down the street from one another. And I remember seeing Izzy like musical directing Seal. And I was just like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, this guy, I thought this guy was, kind of rhythm guitar, a little stony, kind of like didn't know what his, like, where his footing was musically, because all I knew of him was from Taking Back Sunday on the road. And then, I started following him on Instagram and just sort of keeping in touch in the LA vibe that we all kind of like swam in. And one day we kind of just basically, Scotty and I started jamming together. And then probably like a year into that process, we were like, well, as much as we don't, I have avoided guitars because he and I are in no way guitarists. We were like, what about Izzy? Izzy's like on some next level shit. And he is, like, for those of you guys who don't like even just know Izzy as a guitarist, he's like our generation's, he's like to me, like a contemporary, like Satriani Buckethead, man. Like he's a guitar virtuoso that literally can weave in and out of worlds. And instead of love bombing him for this entire interview, Scotty and I knew he was the right fit because he's singular. And I think we needed a voice in this band on that instrument that was singular.
Yeah, well, you just said a lot right there. And something that you mentioned about how Izzy had worked with Seal. My experience is that music directors generally can do every genre. And I say that because one of my favorite bands, Megadeth, I like watching backstage soundcheck footage, and you see that they're jamming on jazz. And there's obviously nothing jazzy in Megadeth. So when Now More Than Ever says, hey, we're going to be in a room and play together, I have to imagine you play the exact opposite of a song like Heels Up and Head Over. It's a little fusiony, right?
I mean, yeah, we haven't had too much time to jam. Everything that we would jam would just be us recording or making music or just talking live. And then all of these are just little collections of us hanging out and what would happen.
Nice.
And until we just played our first show, we didn't really have an opportunity to just sit around and jam because we were either writing something or working on something else, or, it started so much earlier than this. But yeah.
Now, Scott, lobbing the compliments in your direction. As I promised to Tyson, there will be no less than 6 compliments in this interview. Otherwise, Tyson said he was getting off the line.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Scott, your credits outside of the Rejects and outside of this band are fantastic, and they include Weezer and so forth. But a lot of artists I see related to Crush music. Mm-hmm. How did that connection all happen?
An old publisher friend of mine who I think I met through Izzy. He was my publisher for a while, and he knew this guy Evan over at Crush, and I just started.
Avril Lavigne's former guitar player turned publishing executive.
Wow, you really know your stuff. Yep. Yeah. He used to play guitar for Avril, and then now he's like on the business side and killing it, crushing it, if you will, at Crush Music. And started sending him a bunch of ideas, and then this one song ended up on a Weezer album, and then that opened the door for his other artists like Panic at the Disco. Started working with them a bunch, and then that opened the door for like other artists, and so just been doing a bunch of studio work and producing and writing with a bunch of different people.
So you're in the orbit with Sam Hollander and Mike Viola?
I've met those guys and worked like remotely with Sam. Kind of in that orbit. I don't know him super well though.
One day. Well, Tyson, how many songs were actually written for this band and project?
I think we probably wrote 12 to 15 for the whole song, for the whole bank. And, when we started whittling it down, because Creatix, our record it's a fast record. It's like 28 minutes of just straight heat. Yeah. And we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any, like, the one reason why we did this and why we approached this project is because we wanted to put an offering that felt like an experience out there of joy, especially because this was sort of a record that was completely just funneling our love of songwriting and where we kind of started as writers into one offering. So I think the result for us was, it was important for us to weed out anything that didn't feel like it fit the vibe. And we did that, and you got 9 straight fluid kind of jams that kind of tell a story of us kind of getting to know each other in real time.
Well, today of all days possible, I get the press release that the Rejects are going out for a Big Shed headlining tour of all the days that we could be speaking.
Of course.
Izzy, are you both on the road for that? Just Scott? What's the deal?
I don't gotta work. I'm get to watch these guys. Rules.
Well, what Izzy doesn't know is in between, there's a 2.5 week.
We've already signed him up for it.
Yeah, there's a 2.5 week break in between the 2 legs of that tour, and we're just gonna go right back through where we came with.
Oh my God!
With now
we'll
more than ever.
Yeah. Get ready.
Called the reruns tour.
I do hope that happens and to see you live in New York. Obviously,
reruns. I love it. I love it.
Did great, but I have a question about Izzy that I'm going to ask to you two. Now, before you came on to this call, I was telling Izzy about a mutual buddy of ours named Ryan Wheeler, who may or may not play with Diamond David Lee Roth and be on the road with Kuko and all these great people. Now, Ryan and Izzy are both what we call meme lords. Their social media game is as impressive as the music and the output on that end. When he was coming into this project, was that part of the audition at all? Like, you checked all the social media?
Oh, Izzy, we were the audition for Izzy.
Yeah.
It was like, can we be a band you play with? That's pretty much how we put it to Izzy.
That's really funny.
Thank you for giving him credit for thank you for giving him his flowers as they say.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's compliment number 3 of 6. So then
No,
way to go.
All right, got 3 more.
How much time of the day is spent practicing versus curating great social media?
Oh, that's rough. I should practice ever, but it's all just spent on my phone. But I feel like that gives me the inspiration that I need to make music.
Fair.
I practiced pretty much my entire, like, every summer for 10 years straight. And then when I was living in LA, I was like, oh, I can like just go and practice other things like music directing or learning how to run computers or all this other stuff. And so getting to produce and create the music in the band as the kind of outsider and the insider that's also like a big part of what I love about this.
So you just said when I used to live in LA. So this is a long distance band?
No, that's just my brain not working correctly yet. So I currently live in Los Angeles.
Okay, Tyson, you're still in LA. You said Scott lives down the block. So this is a totally LA band. No one had to fly in for the Echo show?
He did. He did live down the block. When we started this band, it was all hunky-dory. But now Scotty lives in Austin, Texas.
Now I'm in Austin, Texas, y'all.
Yeah. But it's still working out. Like, he flew in for the show we did at the Echo. And honestly, you know, look at us. We're not sitting with you right now. I don't know what all those pictures are on your wall, but it looks beautifully curated, and you have some lovely greenery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the greenery is the wife. The photos. Now, here's a little bit of a fun fact. As somebody who had a major label deal in the early 2000s, Tyson, you used to do the 8x11 like promo shots.
Oh yeah.
I never threw them out. So the question is, do I put one or two of the rejects photos on the wall?
One or two?
Under Andrew Dice Clay?
Why not 3?
No. I think, you know, look, I think if you want to brighten up the place, sure. But honestly, I think you should probably put it now more than ever, a modern one up there. Something that says not looking back, but looking forward.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got 2 more questions for the band, and then I'm going to let you all roam free and all that, whatever you do on a Monday. Okay. The first question is, Heels and Head Over, such an impressive music video. Who is it that went, hey, claymation is it? We want to put out something that's going to be time intensive and have to wait for, as opposed to just say everyone in the rehearsal studio lip syncing.
I love this question because Heels Up Head Over, that video is amazing, and it was Izzy's buddy Justin that did it. And
full name, please. He deserves it.
Yeah, so
I don't know I don't want to butcher his last name though. Say it.
Justin Burgos.
Okay.
Him and I used to play music together, and he's gone on to do all these other cool creative things. He's an incredible singer and all these things, but he makes claymation videos and is just a kind of creative force. And Tyson we'd kind of been sitting around talking about ideas for videos, and I just hit record on a voice memo, and Tyson started talking and just went off on all these ideas like vampires and werewolves, and they could be in love, and just talked for a long time. And I sat with Justin and I was like, I think this might be possible if in your mind, if you can just like see it. And he heard it and he's like, I know exactly what this is. How long do I got? And just went to work on it. Him and a couple other friends, but really he just sat with it, and we were like, just let us know when you're done. Like, we really gave him control to do whatever he felt creatively, and trusted that he understood the vision. And when we were seeing it, it was just like, you did it. That's yes. It was really
and I'm glad
a treat for us.
I'm glad you said something about it, because I think this is like epitomizes what this band's mission statement is, which is, if you look at all of our music videos, we've got like 4 out now. You see a band finding themselves the same way they are musically when you listen to Creatix, and what I feel like sets this band apart from anything that I've ever been a part of, and I think we collectively have all been a part of, is when we started doing the video for Heels Up Head Over. That was the first time where we got this. Like, we told our management at the time, we told the distro company, whatever. We told everybody, like, well, we're going to allocate this towards our vision, instead of like sort of like for Don't Rush, Don't Wait, which is the first song we released for this record. We kind of immediately went into this reversion of let's make a music video for the, you know, let's shave our faces and let's do something a little polished and nice. And because that's how you feed the monkey. And then we grabbed the monkey and threw it off our back. And now, you know, take us to present day, which we do, you know, starting with Heels Up, and then the following video for Tragedy. We're embracing the fact that this is a band that's collecting weirdos as their you know, as the crew on this SS now more than ever. and we're steering this thing into the wind, and we do not give a shit now. And I think what will be coming from this band is a progression that feels handmade even more. I think authenticity in the music business is the one currency that has gotten lost to inflation, and absolutely bursting and begging for just authenticity, not closeness. I feel like we live in a time where closeness and getting to know someone is more important than the music they are making. For a lot of new artists, it's their brand usurps their music. And we're a band who's saying, no, remember what it was like when music was bigger than life, when musicians were superheroes, and when the people that were untouchable in your life were the ones that were actually heroes to you. And I'm not saying we want to be. I'm not saying we're anyone's heroes. I'm just saying we're trying to keep ourselves precious. Our personal life is our personal life, but what this band is bigger than all three of us individually. So that's this band's like kind of entire mantra. It's a lot to remember.
Hold on to that collecting weirdos concept. That collecting weirdos concept actually says a lot, and maybe there's an album title. There's something in the collecting the weirdos. But the last question I have for you, and we'll throw it at Tyson, but feel free to make this a diatribe and work in Scott and Izzy into it. So I remember one of the first interviews that you did, it might have even been the DreamWorks bio, said that you were so remedial with your United States knowledge that you found your way from Oklahoma to New York using a map from Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel, yeah.
That true?
Oh yeah, yeah. We didn't have a proper. I guess we didn't feel like we needed one. We're like, all the signs point you to New York City, and so whenever we were getting up into like Philadelphia or like up in Pennsylvania, like township country, we were like, oh shit, we really need to figure out how to get there. And yeah, we like ate breakfast at a Cracker Barrel, and we were like, okay, this works. That one. See, look, there's a Cracker Barrel outside of Manhattan, and then yep, that was the way. I think touring in a van was the greatest gift to my adolescence, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm not going to top that. So, in closing here, Scott, best place to find you on the socials, what is it?
I guess my name, Scott Chesak, at Scott Chesak, whatever the thing is. And then our band is, what is it, Now More Than Ever? Just
Now
at
More
Now
Than Ever band, I think.
No, I'm sorry, you asked me like the worst question because I'm really bad at socials.
You're busy on your craft. Now, Izzy can do both. So, Izzy, is it Instagram or is it the TikTok? Which one is it for you?
I'm just Instagram. I'll maybe see what happens with the TikTokies, but Instagram at Izzy Fontaine. Google, type in Izzy Fontaine. You'll find some weird stuff. Let's go.
But good weird stuff. And
I hope so. Yeah.
And Tyson on tour this summer, playing the Sheds,
on tour with both bands. We're just doing it all, man. Like this, we're swimming all over the States.
Glad to hear that. And how do we best follow you? Is it IMDb?
No, it's. Is that like a slight for making? Is that like you making fun of me for acting?
No, not oh, one of my wife's favorite.
I've never had that such a seemingly passive aggressive way of saying.
Swear to you, on the record, Mrs. Paltrowitz, one of her favorite movies ever is The House Bunny. So when I said I'm talking to the guy from the All American Rejects,
oh yeah,
Now More Than Ever, she's like, who's that? I went, House Bunny, and she went, really?
I love it. Please send her my best. At Tyson Ritter on every social bit of things. That's me.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Looking forward to the next New York gig and everything you do. Just keep up all the greatness.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man.
Paltrocast.